So we're going to go ahead and get started. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are kicking off our learning collaborative again that we do on a monthly basis with all 3 sets of schools of nursing that we work with. And we also quarterly do joint learning collaboratives. So you may have received a calendar invite. Well, I hope you all received a calendar invite for January 18th, which will be having our first quarterly call with all the schools that we work with. So if you have not received that calendar invite, please let me know and I'll be sure that you get it and you're on that listserv. But we want to just focus today on our HBCUs and what the year will look like for us. So I just want to welcome you. I believe I've worked with just about everyone, but if you don't know who I am, I'm Jasmine Cooper. I'm the project advisor here at the campaign and have been working on our mentoring initiatives since 2018. And so I'm really just excited to work with all of you and keep that work going. And then I guess I will also hand it over to Wynn so she can do her welcome and things like that. I know she's looking up some important things, but just want to hand it over to her.
Thank you, Jasmine. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Happy New Year, underscoring the greetings from Jasmine on a healthy and happy and prosperous and productive new year for all of us. And on behalf of AARP's nearly 38 million members, thank you to all of you and your colleagues in nursing for all that you do for patients and families.
Great, great, great. And also another colleague of ours, I'm not sure if everyone has had a chance to meet Patrice, but Patrice, if you just want to introduce yourself, she'll be working with us a lot and maybe you can share some of your focus areas with the campaign.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Patrice Little, family nurse practitioner and a senior policy advisor here at the Center to Champion Nursing in America at AARP. Right now, I am spearheading the Pathways to and Progression in the Profession, which is basically a nursing pathway strategic initiative along with the National League of Nursing, as well as assisting Wynn with the Access to Care Learning Collaboratives. And now I'm here with you all, with Jasmine, and learning more about the work with the mentorship work and hopefully be able to support a little bit more this year.
Thank you. So we're going to just jump right in. The focus of this month's calls with all of our schools is really just to prioritize our efforts for the year. We're hoping that we can really hear about what your priorities are and what your needs are, especially around mentoring, NCLEX preparedness, funding. You know, those are usually our top key topic areas that we've heard when we're having conversations with the schools. And so we really just kind of want to see how your progression has been, if you have a mentoring program, and what your needs might be in that area, as well as the other areas that I mentioned. So that way we as a strategy committee, and there's a couple people that are on the committee on this call, can then come together and figure out who we should highlight, what topics we should cover, and what else that we should do throughout the year. This year, we're really going to focus on being able to share best practices, highlighting programs that are doing well, and really just discussing what's out in the field that would support all of the schools. And yes, Monica, I'll make sure I'll get that email to you. That's really what we're trying to focus on. And so we really just want to make sure that we're hitting on areas and topics that are important to you, so that way this hour is actually meaningful for you when you do meet with us monthly. So we're hoping for a lot of feedback today. I did share an agenda earlier this morning, and so that's the first topic that we wanted to cover is what's your priority, what's your need, what areas would you like us to focus on this year, or would you like to hear from us on, and how best we can assist you. So I don't know if anyone wants to get started, any of the HBCUs that are on with us at all. Please feel free to just share your thoughts and what you would like from us this year.
Can I ask a question, since I'm new to the group?
Yes.
But I'm not representing an HBCU. I'm at the PWIest that you can ever get to.
Okay.
But is there like a one pager of some of that lists like all the projects and successes that have been done the past year within this group that Or just like an overview of?
Well, we have an overview of our general mentoring work, and then we also have a dedicated webpage for all of our learning collaboratives. So some of the ones that are recorded and that we feel are suitable for public view, we put on a website. But we don't have like a specific one pager that might just highlight all the things that we did last year. I can talk to Wynn about that to see if there's some things that we could pull together,
I think that'd be
and we
good.
can get back to you.
Sorry, I feel like I'm needing, last meeting, I
No,
was
no,
like,
it's
can
okay.
we get a networking like Rolodex together of all the things that, you know, who's who in the room and what projects they're doing and what's their expertise? I was like, 'cause I just
Yes,
want the
I didn't forget
networking
about that
piece.
either. That's on my list. So
Yeah.
that's coming up as a topic. Yes.
And also for my own selfish stuff, because I'm with DMPs of color, and this upcoming year, we want to figure out ways to collaborate with HBCUs. One initiative in particular we're looking at, because DMPs of color, we focus on DMP. So I want to look at institutions that have doctoral programs and see if we can offer like a roundtable discussion to explore what does doctoral studies look like in HBCUs, why there are only limited amount of HBCUs that offer doctorate programs, and what ways we can kind of expand that access, because that's HBCUs are, you know, it's no secret, the number one sources of diversifying nursing. So I would love to see if there's ways we can collaborate with docs and HBCUs.
So I will say, hello, everyone. I'm Courtney Nyange. I am from Tennessee State University School of Nursing in Nashville, Tennessee. And I am actually pretty new to my role as the executive director. And I started in the fall, but I was out on FMLA and everything. So I still need, I guess, an understanding of what this group is about and what this is, you know, before, yeah, I still need that explanation. And so I know I've been invited to come to these meetings, but I'm trying to figure out what is going on and what I need to contribute. And, you know, so I just want to be informed about where we are.
Yep, understood. I know a lot of this, when some of our faculty or deans that we work with transition, usually they just give us the email. I guess in our mind, we're thinking they're going to orient you and tell you what this is, but we just add you to the listserv, but welcome. This initiative really is around, of course, having more BSN prepared nurses, but in general, having more nurses of color in the field. And how we do that is we focus on the efforts of mentoring and the importance of mentoring to be able to, increase retention rates, ensure that nurses pass their licensure exam, and of course, hopefully on the first time.
Oh, Jasmine, you're muted all of a sudden.
Sorry. To give you a safe place to have a dialogue amongst colleagues and amongst HBCUs. So we started this initiative in 2018. We started with HBCUs, and it's grown ever since. So now we work with Hispanic serving institutions. We work with American Indian, Alaska Native serving institutions, and we meet on a monthly basis to really just hear from one another, share best practices, and identify ways in which we can provide assistance, technical supports, or bring in experts that can assist. And so that's what we've been doing since. We initially had 2 mentoring trainings where we actually gave you a toolkit, went through programs and various things to kind of help you either enhance or develop a mentoring program. And now we're also looking, with hopefully additional funding, other ways to reconvene all of our HBCUs and other schools again to highlight on areas that would be important to you. So that's what this little group is here for.
May I add?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Jasmine, and welcome, Dr. How do I pronounce your last name? Nyange?
Nyange.
Nyange. So a little bit about what Jasmine's saying we. So we are the Center to Champion Nursing in America and the Future of Nursing Campaign for Action. And that's a joint initiative of AARP Foundation, AARP, and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. And so we've been running the Future of Nursing campaign for 12 years. Just over 12 years. And we have action coalitions in nearly every state, including in Tennessee. They're mostly focused on public health, the Tennessee group. And if you want to talk offline, we can about that, and maybe we could connect you to them. And we started where the campaign started 12 years ago. Our work on diversifying nursing started a year after that. So we created what we now call our Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Steering Committee. It's comprised of the presidents of the organizations that make up NCMNA. Are you familiar with NCMNA? It's a coalition of the ethnic and racial minority nursing organizations. So it's the National Coalition for Ethnic and Racial Minority Nursing Associations, is the acronym. And so that's the National Black Nurses Association, the National Association of Hispanic Nurses, the Philippine Nursing Association of America, the NANA INA, the National Alaska Native American Indian Nursing Association. And you don't have to write all this down. We could send you links. And APINA, the Asian Pacific Islander Nursing Association, the American Association of Men in Nursing, we also have, who's not part of NCMNA, as well as the nursing section from GLAMA. Again, not part of NCMNA, but part of our advisory committee. So we first started there, and then we hired consultants to work with our action coalitions in developing their diversity action plans and implementing them. And there were several themes that came out, and one consistent theme that we heard that the action coalitions were saying was that mentoring was a successful model to help schools of nursing retain their students of color and help them graduate and also help them pass their NCLEX. And so then take it to where Jasmine picked it up in 2018. We were doing webinars over the next several years. And in 2017, we piloted a mentoring convening with an action coalition, realized that we should really focus on the schools of nursing, especially with the minority nursing schools, and we started with HBCUs. And what we did was when we then took it to the next level, we partnered with we asked the National League for Nursing and the American Association of Colleges of Nursing to work with us. We also invited NBNA to join us on this work. They declined, but right now on the call is Deborah Barksdale, who is a dean at the University of North Carolina, not Charlotte, but
Greensboro.
Thank you. So Deborah represents the NLN on this work. And we also have Vernell DeWitty, who is now retired from AACN, but is a consultant to them and also a consultant to us. She's not on this call right now. So, and Debbie Stamps, who's with us from the New York State Action Coalition, is also a representative from Chi Eta Phi. So, so we have the set of national stakeholders supporting the schools, and that gets you to where Jasmine said who we convene and the purpose. One other note. Oh, and now we have Danielle McCamey, who's from DNPs of Color, right? Who's on this planning committee. One other thing to note that starting with the HBCUs, but very consistently with the Hispanic serving schools and the American Indian serving schools, there are three themes that we have identified, that you identified that you need. And one is raising funds, finding funds that can help with your mentoring program or any other effective program to help you retain and graduate your students or prepare them for the NCLEX. The other is recruiting mentors. And the third is preparing faculty to prepare the students for next gen NCLEX. And there are various types of technical assistance that we have organized for the schools of nursing. And so around those three themes. So we will bring on, and she's not on the call yet, she might join. We often on these, even on our planning calls, we have a director from HRSA, right? The federal government who is responsible for the Title VIII funding. And that's Tara Spencer. She's often on these calls, and we will feature her about twice a year so that she's informing you how to best apply for federal grants. Okay, and then for recruiting mentors, Jasmine has been working over the past 2 years with AARP's Office of Volunteer Engagement. We now have, but we have to really ramp it up. We have to roll it out and ramp it up. We now have a portal that the schools of nursing can use to recruit mentors. So we will be driving prospective mentors to that portal, and they will sign up click what schools they would be interested in supporting. And then Jasmine will get that information to each of the schools. And thank you, Debbie Stamps, for that idea 3 years ago, and it's now reality, that AARP create that portal. And thank you to Jasmine for a lot of hard work on getting that done. And then the third is NCLEX. And so what we did there, we made a case a year and a half ago to NCSBN that there's has been an inequity of each board of nursing being responsible for informing their nursing schools, nursing programs to prepare their students for the next gen. And so last February, we hosted about maybe 2.5 hour webinar with their director of education on, it was a very good overview of next gen, and we could send you the link to that. They're probably going to update that webinar soon because they already see how that could be improved. And we also, with NCSBN in June, so 7 months ago, we brought together 14 nursing faculty from various schools to be trained as next gen trainers. So we have people who are prepared to work with your faculty to prepare your students for the next gen exams. So those are all 3 types of technical assistance, concrete technical assistance that we can provide. And frankly, what I'm trying to do, one thing that I'm trying to get funding for, I would love to host a dinner meeting with presidents and provosts from all 3 sets of schools of nursing to implore upon them to have their development offices prioritize their nursing schools, because your universities are leaving millions of dollars of federal funding on the table every year. The federal government wants you to be applying. The schools of nursing hardly have any resources to organize applications and submit those applications. It's very, from what I understand, very complicated. And the development offices have not prioritized you. So I think a really good ROI that we could have is a set of meetings with presidents and provosts and development offices to convince them that they could be getting significant funding for you every year. Okay, does that help? Okay, great.
Yes, so that was a lot. Oh, yes, go ahead, Dr. Barstow.
Hello, everyone. So I have been involved with this since as long as Jasmine. So I can't remember the exact year. I get confused if it was 2017 or 2018. But I'm the NLN representative, but I'm a volunteer because I have a full-time job as a dean here. And in the early days, when I first started, I was really intrigued because there was a substantial focus around diversifying the nursing workforce and NCLEX success and through mentoring. And so there were, I think for the first 2 years, there were meetings that were held in DC. We even met in the AARP office, which was a treat for us. And then once we met in a hotel around the time that, well, I know President Trump was there at the time, and that was kind of interesting. So that's really what the focus has been. I heard someone say that that the HBCUs are naturally what you would think as being the greatest producers of nurses of color, but that from some early data that we were provided, that is not true. And it's not true for a number of reasons, but one thing that this initiative has really been trying to do, and I hope there's been some success, is improve the in-class pass rates, because that's where a lot of the struggles have been, and looking at what they can facilitate, and Wynn and Jasmine have just been phenomenal in helping to lead these initiatives and help the schools see the value of this and participate in a way that it can be helpful and facilitative for increasing or diversifying the nursing workforce in these HBCUs or Hispanic serving institutions. And what's the other one you're doing?
American Indian.
American Indians, through really having faculty leaders more involved and really understand what needs to be done. We've heard all the obstacles, and we know them. we know what they are, and some of the challenges and finances, and people just not understanding nursing within many of the schools and how it operates. So I just wanted to throw from a different perspective, a little bit of what I've seen and why I continue to sit here and participate in this.
Thank you. Thank you. And I will just add, for anyone who wants to have maybe one-off discussions with us, or you're newer and you just kind of want to have a conversation with Dr. DeWitty, who is our consultant, and some of us from the campaign to really kind of help you get caught up to speed and see what you might need that maybe we can't cover during this call, please let us know, and we're more than happy to schedule something with you, or just a quick 30-minute call to kind of figure out what your needs might be. But we really just want to make sure that we're supporting you in any way that we can. And so we welcome everyone that's new and those who have come back that we haven't seen in a while. We're hoping to really just kind of push and keep moving with some of the initiatives that we started last year, especially with our NCLEX trainers, especially with the mentor recruitment. We're really hoping that, this year we'll see a lot of change and support for you all. Anyone else want to share or have any comments or anything like that? I know I really wanted us to also just kind of discuss what our priorities were for the year, just to help us with our programming and things like that on a month-to-month basis.
Well, if I can share something else then in terms of priorities and needs. So definitely, I think mentorship will be very beneficial. My question regarding that and the utilization of mentors, especially as it relates to trying to help with this NGN and everything, like who are the mentors and how much knowledge do they have about the next gen NCLEX? Because I don't know if the rest of you all are struggling, but our faculty are struggling with themselves learning about NGN and trying to use resources and educate students on it. So how effective are the mentors going to be in that aspect? Do they have the training and stuff to help the students prepare for this new NCLEX and all of that? So it's definitely, I think, an area of need, but is it going to serve its purpose, as we envision it?
So it's twofold. We have NCLEX trainers that have been asked to help train faculty, and some of them have actually even been training students on how to prepare for the next exam. The mentoring effort that we have, the overall initiative was not specifically for NCLEX preparedness, but it's for retention, right? We want them to stay in the program. We want to support them. Here's our mentoring efforts. I would say that we could actually add a question on NCLEX honestly, because it's really not too late to add it, but I wouldn't say that that's the primary thing for the mentoring initiative that we have. We just want someone that's been a nurse, that has an experience, that can help students navigate as they're going through their nursing program. But we specifically have trainers, and even just to let you know, for example, because I haven't shared the topic yet, but the topic for our joint learning collaborative will be on NCLEX preparedness, on remediation, on best practices and things like that. And that will be from one of our NCLEX trainers, Tawanda Gaynor, who has worked with Howard. She's worked, I believe, in either Hampton or Norfolk. And now she has a new position, which I can't recall what it is, but I know it's in that arena. And she'll be facilitating the conversation for all 3 sets on the 18th. And so, there's a lot of resources they can share. The NCSBN has given us, ways that we can share some of their resources, how to tap into it. So that it's twofold. So I would say if you really want to have someone discussing NCLEX preparedness, I would say do our NCLEX trainers. But for the mentors, that's just overall general mentoring that we want to make sure that we retain the student through this whole, as they navigate through. I hope that helps, so that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Great.
And we can send you, or we can send you what we should do is send you the link of our landing page for our mentoring work, and it includes
Yes.
the mentoring toolkit that Vernell DeWitty, when she was at AACN, she created with funding from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, so it's publicly available. And when we did the trainings, we did role plays. I mean, several of the participants that were there are on this call, and they could tell you how beneficial those role plays were. And we would love to do that kind of in person. We're trying to find funding to do another in-person training.
Yep. And I shared the overall general mentor training webpage in the chat, and I can also share it with the recording that comes out as well. So that way you can have access to that. And once again, if you have any additional questions, we're more than happy to meet with you or answer them.
And then something that Jasmine pointed out, to first answer your question, is that this is a really great platform for you and your peers to talk with each other, to where you might be, there might be an issue going on at your school, and what are others, how have others managed that? And often you connect offline too to help each other through. And I would say that the first several months of COVID, the faculty were incredibly supportive of each other, trying to navigate that. That was a really amazing.
And sorry,
time.
I've been saying the wrong date. It's the 17th. Please, it's not the 18th. Sorry about that. Someone just sent me a message. It is the 17th. It is from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this week I will actually be creating a flyer, and I'll send an update, and it'll be on everyone's calendar. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know why I have the 18th in my head, but it's the 17th. And that's the Joint Learning Collaborative. Okay, any other questions or anyone would like to share with us? Please don't be shy. We would love to hear from you. Oh, yep. Thank you, Monica. Dr. Tolson.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'll be sitting in now, so to find out a little bit more information, but I think it's great about the next gen, the resources for that.
Thank you. And as it pertains for the next gen trainers, we're actually developing a landing page for them with their bios and their contact information. That should be coming out within the next couple of weeks. So that way, if there's a specific person you want to reach out to, or you want to learn a little bit about their background, you'll have that, and we'll continuously discuss them, and there'll be some on the call. They're all from all the three sets of schools that we work with. We were able to tap into some faculties and deans to be able to get them trained, and so that way you have more access to them. And we've asked them to do pro bono trainings, so that way there's not a cost to you for receiving this information. And as NCSBN updates their training materials, they also send it to us. So we try to stay as current and up to date as possible. So just wanted to let you all know that as well.
I know we, Jasmine, we have Karen Rawls, who's
Thank you.
participated before, but want to get involved again. I didn't know if Karen, if you had anything you wanted to share.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to be back involved again. I do want to share, I think that it's very important for us to be together in this space and to be able to work out some of the kinks that need to be clarified in our areas of nursing, particularly for those of us who have schools and also students that need the assistance that they can't seem to find resources for. I think that we have to work collaboratively, as you all are mentioning, so that we can be inclusive of all the areas that need to be looked at. I do know Next Gen NCLEX is a big issue right now for a lot of the students and a lot of faculty, as a matter of fact. I think that the transition is a little less smoother than what people were anticipating, but change is always a little difficult, and I'm sure that we'll get off and running and make it smoother. I would like to say that I think it's a great idea that we have the trainers, and I just would like for us to be able to provide the trainer information in a wide fashion. At the Atlanta Black Nurses Association, we do have mentors for our any students that are involved as far as scholarships that we provide for them. And we do a lot of the individual one-on-one conversations with students so that we can help them to move through the nursing process and move through nursing school. So I just want you guys to know that I am back in the saddle again, as you would. And if there's anything that I can do to assist on any of the committees or boards or any of the work that you all need my expertise in, I'm happy to do it. And thank you for acknowledging me. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Thank you. And so I did see a question in the chat about the next training. So the trainers develop their own schedules. What I can do is share a contact list in the meantime while we're developing the webpage. And if there's a specific person that you want to reach out to, or you can reach out to all of them, honestly, and let them know that you're interested and would like to train, and you can set up your own schedule that works best. Or you can train your faculty, you can train at this point, you can train your students. We just want to make sure people are trained, right? We want to make sure they get the knowledge and they get the practice. So I will pull together a contact sheet and share all of that with all three sets. So that way you can reach out to someone and see what their availability is to offer a training. And yes. And yes, Shelly Johnson, you have your hand up.
I do, and forgive me if you all have answered this already. Will you all be holding Train the Trainer sessions?
For the NCLEX?
Yes, so right now there are a few trainers that you all that have been trained that are going from place to place. But I think that the need may be greater than just a few trainers. So I've asked this in the past about the possibility of training additional trainers. Is that going to be coming anytime soon?
When?
Well, that is one of our, thank you, Dr. Johnson. That is one of our requests we have out when we are seeking funding. We don't have the funding to do more convenings right now, but when we get more funding, that is one of the items that we're looking for funding for.
So if a school was willing to pay to have faculty members trained, is that a possibility?
You know what, maybe, let me, first of all, we could see with NCSBN if they would just do that directly with you, and if not, who they would recommend. If, and then maybe, Jasmine, we could even potentially poll the schools to see if there's a critical mass of schools that have the resources to convene themselves for NCSBN to train them.
Okay.
Okay.
So I will just speak for FAMU, and our state has given us money to help to train faculty, but we have to use those funds actually by this summer. And I'm concerned that our HBCU and others, you tend to see when the NCLEX changes, there's usually a dip in the scores. I would love to be able to avoid that. So I kind of feel by any means necessary, this is top priority for us because I don't want us to experience that dip.
Right. And
Okay.
Dr. Johnson, remind us what school?
Florida A&M University.
Florida A&M.
Mhm.
So, and if there's not a critical mass of schools, or if NCSBN doesn't have the capacity to train one school specifically, have you reached out to your board of nursing to see if you could hire them to train faculty?
Well, our board of nursing, like many boards of nursing, very small group of people.
Okay.
They really don't have the resources.
Okay. All right.
They did it. We're a state school. If they did it for us, they'd have to do it for all of the
Right.
state schools.
Right. Okay. So let me reach out to NCSBN and see what we could do.
Okay. And I am going to just send you my contact information in case you need to reach me for anything.
Okay. My email address is wquinn@aarp.org. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Can I make a recommendation? It's Dr. Tolson again. We are going to be doing a training on the 23rd with, I can't remember his name, but it's relating to the next gen. And the State Board of Nursing is willing to pay for it for us. So they're going to pretty much sponsor it. And, just inviting all the schools to attend. So they will pay if, you just have to put the proposal in because it's going to benefit producing more nurses possibly and educating them.
That's helpful. Thank you.
I'm sorry, what board of nursing was that?
It's in Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is it Jason Schwartz from
Yes.
NCSBN?
Yes. I think
He's so great.
His name. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of his name.
Yeah, he is great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because he is the one that trained all of our trainers. So if we can get him to continue offering trainings or figuring that out, especially for those who have the resources to do so, that is the best person to do it. So yes, thank you, Wynn, for reaching out to NCSBN for us. And like she said, if anyone else has that capacity, or if you don't and you want to be, like I said, be connected with our trainers, they were trained by Jason. So I will share a contact list. I'll work on that and get that out this week to you all. So that way you can reach out to them. And like I said, Tawanda Gaynor, Monica, were you trained as well? Monica Harmon's on the call right now. There's a couple, Pon Johnson Hunter from Morgan. I believe Melissa also might be from Morgan. I'll give you all their names. So there's quite a few HBCU deans and faculty that were trained that I can connect you all with. And you can, touch base with them to see what their availability is like and get something set up.
And so, Dr. Johnson, if Jason is unavailable, I think it would be good to potentially pursue one of the trainers, like Monica Harmon who's on this call is fantastic. So you're in great hands there, and all of the trainers, really.
I would be happy to call Monica.
All right. So, all right, go for it.
Dr. Johnson and I go way back. So.
Okay. All right.
Well, great, great, great. So I will work on getting that list as soon as I can. But yes, Monica, you'll be in great hands with Monica. So we're excited. All right. Anyone else would like to share or comment or anything like that? Any other topics too that they would like covered? I know that it looks like the first half of the year or before the NCLEX comes out, we're going to be focusing on that a lot. So we're also hoping that the Joint Learning Collaborative will help. And I'll share some feedback with Tawanda too as she's developing her materials for that Joint Learning Collaborative. But are there any other topics that you think would be important? Should we also revisit some of the mentoring topics, some of the training that we had in the past? Is there anything else that you would like us to highlight or focus on as the year continues?
So may I, so I do represent the Pennsylvania Action Coalition. So I just hope that we do highlight ways that we can work with the action coalitions as well, because that is part of the mission, I think, is to advance nurse diversity as well. And I know for PA, we're still working with Lincoln University of Pennsylvania as well for our mentorship program. We are now in the 3rd cohort. Exciting, yay. And our mentors do come from across the Action Coalition as well. And I'm also happy to report that we did win some more funding from the Independence Blue Cross Foundation for our program, yay. Wonderful. And there with the work that we've done, they are using for their health scholars as well. So that's actually broadening our reach too. Now, scholars are various diversities, but you know, that's all great as well. So we're going to be able to do more collaboration with students and with mentors as well. So we're just excited. And so again, I just implore all of you, if you're not connected to your action coalitions, please reach out, you know, use them. They're ready, willing, and able. And also, I have to give a plug because I am the chapter president of the Southeastern Pennsylvania Area Black Nurses Association, of which also is a partner in this mentorship program too. So.
Great, thank you. And you can find a list of our action coalitions and their contacts on that main mentor training page that I shared earlier, and I can share again. It is closer to the bottom of the page with all the resources that we have. So that list is there if you ever want to reach out to your Action Coalition co-leads and have a conversation with them about collaborative opportunities. And maybe that's also, maybe we can feature some of the states or have them come, some of them do come in to some of our learning collaboratives so that you can have that dialogue with them. And let me just put that link in the chat again. Okay, anyone else? Oh, sorry.
Jasmine, are you guys thinking about doing like an in-person workshop again for the group, or no, to jumpstart?
It is one of our goals, but it just depends on funding.
Oh,
Yes. That is something that we seek funding for, Dewey, and it's great to see you. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Yep. Anyone else?
Sharon, I'm sorry, Jasmine, I believe they would like to know also about PBI trainers.
What's PBI?
Karen was asking about PBI trainers.
What's PBI?
PBI trainers.
Predominantly Black institutions.
Oh. You mean
The predominantly Black institutions typically are not run necessarily by Black or people of color, but they have a higher admission and ratio of Black students. And there are several in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area, that would really benefit from being able to have some of this information.
You know what, when we do the Jasmine, at least when we do the larger, like the quarterly or the 3 times a year calls, when we pull all schools of nursing together, we open that up to everyone, right? Not just the schools of nursing.
Well, we send it to our listserv, so it's just the 3 sets of schools that we work with. If you want it to be more, we can send it to the campaign listserv, or we can talk about how else we can spread that to more schools.
Yep. And then we should, with the planning committee, talk about how going beyond, when and how we go beyond HBCUs. And was that Karen Rawls that brought that up?
Yes.
So, and Karen, so is that like another federal designation of predominantly Black institutions?
It is a designation. I don't know that it's a federal designation, but for instance, Clayton State is a PBI here in the Metro Atlanta area. And there are several of them that are in the metro area that are PBIs, and they don't necessarily get, it's kind of like they fall in the cracks because they don't fit in the HBCU. They don't necessarily fit in the state or private institution, but the students are predominantly Black, and they have several different programs. Like Clayton State has a wonderful nursing program.
Yes.
And so the students could really benefit by having a trainer for the next gen NCLEX, and as well as anything else, any of the mentoring programs that are offered with us.
That is.
Oh, sorry, you were going to say
Go
something.
ahead, Patrice.
I was going to say, when I believe Dwayne Hooks is the new dean at Clayton State. So he's like, you probably heard his name because he's worked really closely with, I believe, Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah, he has worked closely with Lisa. And also there's Victoria that's over there, and Michelle.
Okay.
And I think that all of them, I don't know, I can't speak for them, but I think that it would be beneficial for the students,
right,
if they had, these resources.
Right. And Jasmine, I'm also thinking if we get enough mentors, like maybe we can include the PBI on the list of mentors, the mentor portal. So, and Karen, to underscore a point you made about the faculty, the administration and faculty of predominantly Black institutions being most of whom are not nursing educators of color, that is exactly an issue experienced by Hispanic serving schools and American Indian Alaska Native serving schools of nursing. And so this is very beneficial for my education, at least, to figure out how we can potentially reach more students, but within the resources that we have.
Well, I agree, and we could talk offline a little bit more about this, because that's an area of discussion and an area that we are actually working on with the Georgia Nurses Association.
Okay.
And I am the lead chair for the social justice and racial equity team there. And it's very obvious that there are very many programs that are out there that are predominantly Black institution programs, but are not being run, or not being, we have some directors, some assistant directors, no deans. And so that's an area that's very passionate of mine.
Yeah.
And I just look for any opportunity to bring that topic and discussion up, because I think it's very important.
Okay, great. Great.
Now, so please don't hesitate to reach out to me so we can move forward on this conversation.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All righty.
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine's screen is frozen when.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're
So, I have a direct. Yes, Debbie, that's exactly what I just said. those are the schools of nursing that we reach. So, okay, Karen, we will follow up, and it looks like Jasmine is rebooting. So, and Karen, are you on our planning committee?
Actually, I've not actually been on the calls for quite some time. And so I'm not, I may have my name on something, but I haven't participated because I haven't been on the calls for quite some time. I found myself really busy last year. And so I wasn't able to attend like I wanted to, but I will certainly make some time and move some things around to be a active participant on anything that you guys need my expertise on.
Okay, great. So I'm capturing Jasmine here. Okay, so I just suggested to Dr. Rolls that she join our planning committee.
I was gonna ask her that, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so it's unanimous. We're going to be, oop. And you're in from that, just,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Okay, all right, so Dr. Rolls, we will be in touch, and thank you for your email address in the chat.
You're quite welcome. I look forward to it.
Okay, do you want to take it away and close us
Sure.
out?
Sorry about that. I'm in the work building. I don't know why I have internet, but I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. I'm really excited about this year. There's so many great opportunities and initiatives that we have coming up, and I can't wait to expand this work. If you need us for anything, please let us know. Karen, I will make sure to add you to our meetings with our strategy committee. And if there's anyone else that would like to join us, please let me know, and thank you again. All right.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, everyone.
reach
Thank
out to us
you.
Bye,
directly with
everyone.
any other
Bye.
ideas or questions.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.